Today on Locked On Phoenix Suns, the Kings beat the Suns again, but Josh Okogie went off. How much can we take from a game where everybody is on the sideline? Let's go.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Suns. I'm Brendon Kleen, a staff writer at Awful Announcing and a credentialed Suns media member. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen to kick off your Thursday. Don't forget, Locked On Suns is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button and do what thousands of other Suns fans have already done. Become an everydayer and get locked on to the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's episode, guys, brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA when you do to get $20 off your first purchase. Joining me, as always, from the wonderful West Valley, my fellow Suns credentialed media member. How are we feeling on this Thursday, Ben Garcia?
Sometimes you have games that are Wednesday in the middle of November that just drive you crazy. I'm so annoyed. The game was so stupid. Every part of it was just stupid. Besides Josh Okogie, but not having Bradley Beal. For some reason, there's no Grayson Allen. Kevin Durant's not there. And it was just – there's just
Josh
games.
Okogie part was pretty stupid, too. Not in a bad way, but like
But it was
I can't
stupid.
think of a better word than stupid for that, even though it worked
stupid.
out.
I mean, yeah, the whole game was just so infuriating. I texted you at halftime. I was like, this is a 5-point game. Why does it feel like we're down by 20? And then at one point, they were up in the third quarter. And even I knew there's no way they hold on to this. Now, I didn't expect them to lose by 20, but that was just, the whole thing was just frustrating. Very frustrating. And the Kings shooting 63% from the field, and the Suns shoot 37%, and their leading scorer is Josh Okogie. You lose those games every single time. Anyways.
Yes, very frustrating, very weird, very stupid, Ben. But let's zoom in on our moment of the game. Mine into the third quarter here. I think I picked a similar type of moment, actually, in the Tuesday night game against the Jazz, where a bench group kind of had some fight, and then ultimately, it got back to being a real game again. But this is end of the third quarter where the score was tied midway through the quarter. Kings start to pull away. You're like, is this just over at this point? And then Ty Washington comes in. Monte Morris starts playing well. The Suns put a little run together, cut the lead to 5 right as Devin Booker checks out. And you're like, can they just hold this together? Can they keep it close as Booker hits the bench? And then he just plays the whole fourth and make this something, make this interesting. No, the answer was no. De'Aaron Fox, pull up 2, hit ahead, full court passes to Trey Lyles. It just a pass to Kevin Huerter for 3. The Kings just basically kingsed, and their offense doesn't care whether Devin Booker is on the court. You got to match them all 48 minutes, and by the end of the third quarter, they extended the lead back to 13, and it was basically a ball game from there. So, tiny moment of hope, interesting stepping up from Ty and Okogie and everybody else, but this was just not meant to be, I think, Ben. This game.
Yeah, they were mentioning in the broadcast Jalen Bridges and Ty Washington just going nuclear or at least Ty Washington, I know for sure, just going nuclear in the Suns G League game. And I was just thinking to myself, how does this guy just average an easily measly 25 points a game, but can't work on or can't like crack the starting rotation? I thought Ty a few times tonight really did flash, and it really made me think for a second. I was like, well, if this guy can play, when is he going to play? Is this the only time he's going to play? And I thought the Suns broadcast team brought up a really good point about the Suns G League team, that these guys are getting live reps every night, and they're not Bronny Jamesing it and just playing in the games that they want to play in. So I thought all of that was really interesting. You also mentioned the Kings just Kings tonight. Just building off of your point, if you're going to play the Kings, try not to play them on a back-to-back, but you gotta make life a little uncomfortable for them, and they were just not uncomfortable at all tonight. I told you before we started tonight, the show, I was like, they only made 13 threes tonight. It felt like they hit 50 of them, but they only shot 24 of them. But when you hit 50% of them, that's what that feels like. So just need to make life a little bit harder. And there was a point in this game in the fourth quarter, where it was 88-95, and it still felt like it was within reach for the Suns, although I never really thought they were going to win this game either. I mean, there was like a bunch of moments that, like with the Kings and the Suns, that I just felt like the Suns didn't make it even remotely difficult for them, whether it was easy passes up the floor, Mason Plumlee's not getting up there, letting the officiating getting in their head. That's more of a fan thing. But when De'Aaron Fox comes down the court, hits the three, makes it a 10-point game, right there I thought was your ball game. There was no chance you were coming back. There was no chance you were digging yourself out of this. Devin Booker struggled tonight. Ryan Dunn struggled tonight. Everyone outside of Josh Okogie, I felt like struggled. And I don't feel like any of them outside of Ty Washington and Josh Okogie played particularly well.
I mean, it really was those Fox moments to me, because I think that just made it clear. So DeMar DeRozan, we should say, hits the bench at halftime, basically similar to what happened with Jusuf Nurkic on Tuesday for the Suns, and doesn't even come back. But it was just those moments where Fox would just go nuclear and be the unguardable, lightning bolt that he can be, where you're just like, without Beal, without Durant, like, this is just a team that the Suns are not going to be able to match. They don't have enough firepower to create great shots every time down the floor the way that the Kings do. But you mentioned the name of the guy that most Suns fans would hope could match that, and it was Devin Booker. And how much criticism is fair on a night like this? I mean, you just mentioned his two best bench players are, Okogie and Ty, maybe Monte Morris. He's starting with, guys who were on the fringe of the rotation at the beginning of the season, right? I mean, I guess Jusuf Nurkic did start, but, it was Plumlee yesterday. How much is fair to put on Book when you say, oh, well, they didn't have the firepower to match, and yet they have a second-team All-NBA player that could be doing more?
Yeah, I don't think they had the firepower to match a Kings game like tonight. Like, the Kings are clearly a very good, very functional team right now, especially offensively. But even they were they shot 63% from the field, if I'm looking at this correctly. 64% from the field. Like, you're just not going to win those games unless you're literally matching
from
that.
Deep before tonight, as they kept mentioning on the broadcast. So yeah.
And they were 53% from three. You're just not winning those games. But with that being said, Devin Booker has to be better. When there is no Kevin Durant and when there is no Bradley Beal, I don't want to hear anything about a slump. You do not get to go through a slump when there's no one else on the floor. You have to be the guy on the court that demands the ball. And I don't know if he's struggling right now to adapt to the new system, but at this point, we're now 12 games in, making fun of myself yesterday for saying that. He has got to be better. I don't know if he's got to be more aggressive. I thought he was fine defensively at times, but we cannot keep having games like this. 18 points on 6 for 16 shooting, 1 for 4 from three. It felt like he was hesitant getting to the cup. It felt like he was trying to foul bait at times. It felt like a little bit maybe the officiating was in his head, maybe just a little, but we cannot coddle Devin Booker for much longer. Yes, he's been awesome. He's a great son, but he has got to step up when these games happen. And he did not step up again tonight. And honestly, outside of a few games, again, there was that stomach issue. There was whatever, the illness. We cannot have that. The Kings are not a stifling defense. You need to make your presence felt. The Suns lose this game by 20, but Devin Booker has 28 points and shoots well from the field. That's just going to happen. But what is inexcusable is Devin Booker continuously playing poorly, especially when he's the guy that they're counting on right now on the court. Did I leave anything out there?
Yeah, I think coddle might be strong, but other than that, I think.
Can you tell I'm not in the mood tonight? Can you tell I'm not happy with this team right now?
It's earned, but I think kind of putting it into perspective. Like I You mentioned it, right? The Kings were not only the Kings, which is always a great offensive team and always a dangerous offensive team, but tonight just on another level. They're at home. They have the
Yeah.
rest advantage. They go, off from deep and everything else. But my issue with Book on a night like this, especially coming off of yesterday, is and it's often with him, the lack of consistency of approach, right? Last night I give him all the credit in the world for coming into the game and committing to taking these pull-up threes. He's had games where he's drawing the defense and being a great passer. And tonight it felt like none of those elements were there, right? He doesn't have... I think 5 assists is probably underselling. I do think he had a pretty solid passing game, but still only 5 assists in terms of directly contributing to that stuff. Maybe there's some hockey assists I'm missing, but that wasn't really there. Only 4 3-point attempts, so that pull-up 3-point dangerous game isn't really there. And it's just odd to watch him some nights where something will work and then it just kind of disappears. And I think that's the part that kind of makes you frustrated just watching this, and you're feeling like there's something left on the table. Is he just did it against an equally bad defensive team? Why did it not happen tonight? And I think that's kind of what we're all left to wonder. Let's talk about somebody who did meet the moment out of absolutely nowhere. Josh Okogie. Do the Suns have another wing on their hands after the hammy healed up? Or was this just lightning in a bottle up in Northern California? First, today's show is brought to you by the Gametime app. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier, filtering out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste your time. I've told you before, I'll tell you again, whether you're getting sports tickets, concert tickets, comedy tickets, theater tickets, whatever you want to see, Gametime's the best place to do it. And with Gametime Picks, you can go to a city or a specific event, open up that tab, and at the very top, Gametime will put the best value. Might not always be the cheapest, might not always be the absolute best seat, but it is guaranteeing you will be saving the most money. And that is, of course, all that any of us could possibly want. It'll tell you, hey, this one is the best deal if you want to go to this event. Buy it right now. Or this is the best ticket available, the best ticket going, the best price going in this whole freaking town. Buy this ticket. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. All right, Ben, let's keep it rolling here. So, our lesson from this game, I think we got to dive in. I'm sure you'll have another one for us, but Josh Okogie, we've gone too long without singing this man's praises. 28 minutes played and 25 points scored in those minutes. So let's break down his game. First, I want to remind everybody to check out the Locked On Daily Suns daily newsletter. Click the link in the show description below. Type your email address in. Hit subscribe. Get awesome content. Get caught up on the Suns and the NBA every single day. And best of all, support the show. We really do get money directly to the show, and you don't have to pay. That's how this works. It's free for you. It helps us. If that matters to you, hopefully that makes you consider a little more. But you're getting something out of it, which is all the good content that people are putting together, including Ben and I, in that newsletter each and every day. Okay.
Some nice little nuggets of information that you get from there, too. We used it the other day with Bradley Beal's defense. It was very fast. I didn't even know that they were doing that until I saw it. So it's a good nugget.
Writing, from original writing, some news and notes things to just kind of keep track of stuff, and then you just get to see all the recent episodes of the show and all that good stuff. So check it out for sure. I'll just throw the question I said before the break right at you, Ben. How real is this? Do the Suns they got to make way for Josh Okogie in this rotation? They're going back to a 10-man group, and he's just banging down the door? What's up here?
Can I say it's possible that I don't want to be negative the entire night. And the first part, I was a little negative, maybe a lot negative, but let's say it is possible that it's real. Like, it is possible that Josh Okogie went into the lab, him and Ryan Dunn together, both atrocious 3-point shooters, and both guys built up the confidence and are able to figure out how to shoot the ball effectively. Josh Okogie is an offensive rebound mastermind for being 6'2", is a pesky defender, and more so when I say pesky, I mean annoying defender, like the Patrick Beverley type without being a complete idiot. That's what I feel like Josh Okogie is.
Also,
now,
yeah,
if you're
very
asked,
high IQ defender too. He doesn't always get credit for that. We always are like, oh, look at that sick highlight. It's like he really is in the right position,
He's
in
a
the
smart
right place
guy.
all the time. Yeah,
he's a very bright basketball player and a vet to the fullest extent. Now that I'm done being positive, is it likely that this is Josh Okogie? No, probably not. Sometimes we all get hot from 3-point line, even myself. When I'm out playing pickup, it just happens. But if I had to lean towards yes or no, I'd probably say it's about an 85% chance that this is not the actual Josh Okogie shooting the ball.
okay,
What say you?
fair. But we look at the box score tonight. 7 of his makes were not from 3. So I think that's where I go with it. And I agree with you 100%. I'm not going to believe that in year 7, a dude who has not made 3-point shots or really any jump shots of any kind is suddenly very, very good at that skill. I just don't believe it. We would have seen it already. He's gotten ample opportunity in Minnesota and here to prove that. What I do, can I make the case for a part of his game maybe being real here, maybe being different this season?
Yes, please, because we should probably pick up the positivity.
Well, they lost. I mean, when nobody needs us to sit here.
Yes,
and
yeah,
but
I know, but there was a lot of bad tonight. Guys hurt.
Yeah.
I felt like
And
officiating was atrocious.
he
But
was the
Okogie
good.
was good. So yes, let's hear.
I think that Josh Okogie could actually benefit from the random style that the Suns are playing. The way that Mike Budenholzer wants this team to play, I think could suit Josh Okogie for a few reasons. One, there's just more space. So I've crushed him in the past for the problem is not just that he can't shoot threes, it's that his handle is too loose and he's not a good finisher. And that whole offensive skill set being absent is where the problems come in. But if he has more room to dribble, if he has more room to cut, if he has more area around the basket that's spread open by, 5-out offense or, just small ball or whatever it might be, I could easily make a case that's going to set up Okogie to be more effective, just cutting, finishing, scoring inside, and at least making himself useful in some way, shape, or form, right? Like the Okogie comp, like the best end scenario has always been like what Gary Payton II is in Golden State, like the year they won the title. Somebody like that. That dude can't shoot very well. That guy's not any sort of tall freak athlete. He's like 6 feet tall, but he just makes it work because he can dunk and pass and kind of make it work on offense, and then his defense is game-changing. So I kind of can see that happening, but the reality is teams are still going to make him shoot threes, and that's just a problem that's hard to get around. So I don't think that this is going to be, a season-changing addition for the Suns just because Okogie's healthy here.
Yeah. I can I buy that? Yes. Will I leave it on the shelf and come back a different day and maybe wait till it becomes discounted? Probably. You make a compelling case. I didn't really think of it like that because when I say pesky, when I say Patrick Beverley like defender, when I say Gary Payton II is a much better comp in that aspect, I never really thought of those two as the same player because GP2 is a very effective NBA player. I can buy into that. But it's still like you'd mentioned, it's year 7. We've seen it, Minnesota, the Suns. But the two things as well that Okogie, you're right, needs to be better at is his handling of the basketball, which sometimes at times seems a little sporadic, to put it quite frankly. And then going to the basket, you saw it a couple of times tonight. He's really good getting the quick offensive rebound or being Johnny on the spot with a backdoor cut. But yeah, maybe. I wonder if he will even get the opportunity to do that when guys get healthy. If he's going to have to do it quite quickly with all these guys out. I'll leave it on the shelf, but I could buy that. I think that is a compelling case for Josh Okogie.
I think he'll at least get minutes until KD's back, right? I mean, at this point. It's like
No,
Royce
Willie.
and Dunn both played 20-plus minutes tonight, and he still was
Well,
out
Royce
there.
Dunn, Grayson, and Beal and Monte. I think all those guys played before Josh.
Yeah, but I don't think they're all playing the same position. I mean, Monte Morris isn't really, one for one with Josh Okogie. So I think if you're just talking about you want to have like a defensive wing or forward out there, or a winger forward, I should say. I don't even need to say defensive. He's kind of the only other one besides those two dudes off the bench.
Okogie's just so short and has a long track record of not being able to shoot the ball very well. There were times tonight where he was just heat checking, pulling them, and every time I was like, "That's not going in." And then it was Splash Town.
The one where he was like
Ty
calling for the foul as he chucked it up and it went in. Yeah. Any other quick lessons here before we get to our closeout?
Really quickly, I thought the Suns showed, which this isn't new, and I'm not surprised by this, but I do feel like their interior defense has got to get better. Maybe it gets better with Kevin Durant. I'm sure it does. Ryan Dunn helps with it. Mason Plumlee's not getting it done. And Oso Ighodaro has got to be better with switches on defense. There was a point where it felt like that could have been a big moment in the game where Ty Washington was in the paint with, I can't even remember who it was, and the player just reached, I think it was Lyles, just reached right over him and scored. The interior defense hasn't been good over the past couple of games, and with a team like the Kings that aren't particularly big, this shouldn't be an issue, but it just is. And that's a Nurkic and Plumlee issue. Those guys got to be better. So just quickly, but the Okogie thing I thought was more interesting.
Let's look at a very strange trend that we have not focused on enough with the Suns, and it happens to be the thing that's supposed to be the easiest shot in all of basketball. What is going on there? Next. First, today's show is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action all season long with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and I'll say the NBA because, frankly, if you're watching Arizona's family sports, watching these Suns games, they're flashing the FanDuel thing all over the place there as well. All sports are on FanDuel. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Okay, what do we got here? Hockey? Big hockey guy, Ben?
For this bit, yeah. For this bit,
Okay,
huge
great.
hockey guy. Big
we
Utah
already talked about it.
guy.
I don't want to reveal any sort of secrets for FanDuel, but the real thing here is just bet the biggest college football favorite of the weekend.
Are you a hockey guy?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I couldn't even keep it up to keep going with you there. But like Penn State's minus 8,000 this weekend. Throw $5 on Penn State, get your 150, and get to work on the more fun stuff. All at FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and NBA. Closing out the show. All right. So let's just get right to it. Our box score oddity of the night here, Ben. 19 of 26 at the free throw line for the Phoenix Suns. And like midway through the game, Kevin Ray had the number that coming into tonight's game, the Suns were sitting at 78% as a team. And it's going to go down because tonight was 73%. So it's just, I'm sure if you look at any 12-game stretch of a season for any team, you're going to find weird times. But the reality is, with how much shooting talent this team has, how are we talking about them suddenly being awesome shooting threes and yet they can't make their freaking free throws? This makes no sense.
Well, Brendon, it's not just a hit your free throws thing. It's like when Devin Booker is having a bad game, or any one of the star players. What do they always say? Drive to the basket, get to the line, and just see one go in. It's not like Josh Okogie, which I can't even tell you if he missed a free throw tonight, but I know Devin Booker did. And I think Devin Booker shot like close to like upper 80s last year to free throws. There are too many times this year where Booker or Kevin Durant are missing free throws. I don't really remember Bradley Beal, but I'm pretty sure Grayson Allen missed one yesterday. They're free for a reason, and they're also have the ability to allow you to get out a little bit of a slump, allow you to see one go through. And when you're not hitting those, it just feels like nothing is going our way tonight. It's been an issue for 12 games now, the Suns free throw shooting. This can't continue because, as you just mentioned, too many good three-point shooters on this team, too many good shooters on this team outside of Yusuf Nurkic. This team should not have that issue, and they do, and it's going to continuously bite them in the butt, especially in late-game scenarios. I don't know if it's in their head or if it's a skill issue, and I guess that's what I would toss to you. I don't think Devin Booker forgot how to shoot free throws. I don't think Kevin Durant forgot how to shoot free throws. What is it? Like, what is it?
Because I think some of it's just, like I said, a random chunk of the season. It's just ugly when you are in all these close games, and it does just feel like it's haunting you a little bit. But hey, the Suns have also been pretty awesome in clutch games despite this, so it really hasn't affected them, even if it feels annoying. No, nobody forgot how. I just think some of it, too, is going to be kind of a math problem here, right? Like, Mason Plumlee is a guy who plays center. He's going to get fouled here and there, but he's not a good free throw shooter. He switched hands. That's how much of a struggle that is for him, right? Like, he's at 52% heading into tonight's game. Tonight's game, he was 1 of 2. So, like, he's going to make 1 of 2 every single time, and he's 5th on this team in attempts. You know what I mean? Like, Ryan Dunn, not a good free throw shooter. Like, even though the three-point shot is developing, it seems like the free throw ugliness from college has followed him. He's now 1 of 4. You know, so they're going to need their best players to just nail them and hope that is good enough. If the main guys taking them are making them, it's not going to be a problem. But, you know, Beal 81% on the season, that's not quite where you want it to be. And it just feels like a game in, game out issue right now. But, yeah.
Wait, are we going to have Coach Bud? I was going to say, are we going to have just Coach Bud, just old school, high school basketball practice where, all right, guys, all day we're shooting free throws until we hit 100 in a row. Like, it's just
do laps or suicides.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. It's just a stupid thing that is easily correctable with this team. If I lined you up, Brendon, at the free throw line, how many do you think you'd hit out of 10? Could you hit more than Mason Plumlee?
I can't even say yes. I can't even sit here and try to.
You couldn't hit 6 free throws?
I mean, I could hit 6. Am I going to sit here and disrespect an NBA player by telling him I could?
I think I could beat. If Mason Plumlee's watching this, you're not. But if you are, I hereby challenge you to a free throw off. 10 free throws.
Plumlee's 3 feet taller than me, so I'm just watching what I say. That's all. Seems like a nice guy, but I'm not trying to get on the wrong side of somebody who has that much size.
I don't care if he's nice. Hit your free throws. I'm not attacking his character. I'm not attacking him as a father, but goodness gracious. I'm not challenging Devin Booker. I'm challenging the guy also. If you ever have to change your hands in free throws, that's not the problem. It's everything else is the issue. Sorry, I got us off topic there, but look.
He might have bought himself like 5 more years in the league by mixing it up there. You never know. He's stuck around. He was drafted in 2013, back when the Nets were like still in New Jersey or something. So
this being one of the just like infuriating and stupid Suns games of the year, this show has been one of the funnest of the year. So I don't know. I don't know what that relates to.
It's your first. I was actually thought about this while we were getting ready to record and the game was getting out of hand. This is our first full episode after a loss because they lost to the Lakers the first week. We didn't do a show, and then they lost on Sunday, but we did a recap of the whole weekend, so we only did one segment on the Kings game. So this is your first half hour
every time we
BS about a bad game. How did it feel? Did you like it?
So every time we lose a game, I'm just going to slowly go mad for a half an hour while you just watch and laugh at me.
Yeah, it'll probably be like 30 plus of these, so get used to it.
I'm just going to call out a different Suns player every week. Or every time they lose, and I'll just go through them. Mason Plumlee, you're up first, buddy. You're up first. You better figure it out.
By the way, nobody come at me. I just threw 30 out there. I'm not predicting the Suns are going to lose 30 plus games. Chill out.
No,
But, okay.
they're gonna win. They're gonna lose 40. I'm just kidding.
I have one last question for you. A bench mob vibe check here that everybody on the bench played. I mean, by the end, Bull and Jalen Bridges emptied the bench and got in there.
Did
and
Bull show up?
He did.
Oh,
While we were getting ready to record.
Look at you, Bull stands. I have no analysis for you, but hey,
And you know
he
what
hit
he
all
did?
3 of his free throws.
Made his free throws. That's what I was
Yeah.
just going to say.
All 3 of his free throws, 5 points, an offensive board. You know what? Bull stands. Maybe you have a point.
Stand up. Okay. But I would think Grayson probably plays on Friday. It sounds like Beal may not, from what John Gamadoro reported on Twitter, and then Durant we know is still going to be out. So if Grayson's back, let's just say he's back, but who should be playing right now? Like, as quickly, I mean, we don't need to go player by player, but, Nurk feels like he's still playing through some pain. Like, I think Monte Morris has looked good. Damian Lee less so. Like, are we going back to Ty Washington minutes in this next game? Or, like, just run me through what you think this should be looking like, because that's a big game on Friday. NBA Cup, and it's OKC.
Josh Okogie has earned the right to get a substantial amount of minutes for next game because of how well he played tonight. He earned the right to have a second game to showcase if this was a mirage or if this was real. Monte Morris as well. Grayson Allen, if he plays. If Nurkic is injured, sit out, man. We already have an issue with you at times when you're fully healthy. If you're injured, just go get healthy. We don't need to do that.
He was the Thunder killer last year. He was like the only Suns player who could actually have good games against OKC.
It's because they didn't have Hartenstein or now Chet Holmgren.
And they don't right now, so perfect. They kind of like low-key might need him in that game.
Lace them up, Nurk. You're going into that game. Well, then if that's the case, I don't think I want to see Oso Ighodaro in that game. That's a really smart Thunder team who move really quickly and are stifling defensively and are just really a thorn in everyone's side. I think I'm going to sit Oso in that game, who was not very good tonight. I'm so sick and tired of his push shot. It looks like Bismack Biyombo when he shoots the ball.
Get used to it. That's his only shot. I don't know what to tell you.
I hate it so much. Well, how about just hit it at a better clip for me and make it not look so much like Bismack Biyombo, or just develop some short of. How do you make it to the NBA?
Have you seen his practice threes? You don't want him taking those. That's about as ugly as it gets. I mean, with all due respect, he's a center. I don't need him to shoot threes, but I'm just saying. It's about the push shot is the best that you're getting from him.
He's push shotting 3-pointers, man.
Basically.
How do you make it to the pros with that jumper? Like, how do you do that?
Because you're 6'10" and you're a really smart passer and you played good defense, so you don't have to shoot threes. But
all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if I want to see Oso. Mason, obviously, Nurk, if he plays, sure. Booker, obviously, done. I would love to see him on Shea a little bit in that game. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think
Beal doesn't play Friday. Dunn's guarding Shea all the minutes he's in the game, so he'll get that.
And Dunn will be fouled out by the end of the first quarter because that's how annoying it is to guard Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
But that's another reason that Okogie's for sure going to play. They gotta. I mean, Shea is. They got an answer for that.
Annoying. He's annoying. That's all it is. He's annoying. Just really while we wrap.
Good,
he's also annoying. Just really quickly while we wrap this up. NBA officiating. Figure it out. Figure out what's a foul. Figure out what's not. Please don't spend 5 seconds after the play is already developed to call a foul, and the official on the other side of the court do it. And I'm getting so sick of stuff being called on one side of the court and not being called on the other side. And if I have to watch a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander free throw fest, I'm going to throw this computer through the window. I simply am. So, and I'm not excited for that.
My quick answer to that same question, I think everybody basically plays except that Grayson takes the Damian Lee and Ty Washington minutes. But I think Bud is basically just committed to the three-headed monster at center right now, especially while Nurk is kind of hurt. And like you said, like I agree, Okogie has earned the minutes. So we'll see
Yeah,
kind
he
of
earned
what
it.
the
Earned it.
closing lineup and everything like that looks like. But for now, I think that this kind of medley off the bench is here to stay as the Suns just try to figure out what the heck they're doing and try to win some games while their players are hurt. That'll wrap us up, though. Hit follow, subscribe if you have not already. Become an everydayer. We got one more episode coming your way this week. And a recap of the Thunder and, they don't play again until Monday. So we'll get a Thunder and some news and injury updates over the weekend. We're here for you 5 days a week, guys. Enjoy your Thursday. We'll talk to you later.